Hurricane Ian is now a post-tropical depression, but it has left more than 36 dead and $100 billion of damage in its devastating wake. Our team coverage continues as rescue, recovery, and rebuilding are now a national effort. Our reporter Leonardo Feldman is on the ground in Florida with the latest on the cleanup efforts. Leo, I see the building behind you with all those blown out windows. We can see some of the damage behind you. Tell us what you've seen. You've been tracking this all week.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. Well, as you can see right now, if you look closely, there are crews working to patch up the windows that were blown out of that building in downtown Sarasota. This is the Sarasota Private Trust Company building, and it is important to point out that this happened when Hurricane Ian devastated the area. It is also important to point out that authorities are saying that there is no county-wide threat right now in terms of the levee failure that was reported in the Hidden River and Mediacom Valley. It is a localized threat. But meanwhile, the devastation and the destruction was mostly in Fort Myers Beach, where several buildings and homes were completely destroyed.
All right, Leo, are any of those areas that where you've been over the last couple of days, do they have power? Are you seeing the crews starting to work on getting essential services back up and running there?
There's still about 1.8 million customers here in Florida without power. And we've also seen that in other states where Hurricane Ian made its way actually yesterday, like South Carolina, et cetera. In those states, about hundreds of thousands of people are currently without power. Those images that you see right now are actually from, I believe it's Daytona Beach, where drone video shows the devastation and the flooding that occurred there. And that's on the completely other side of the state, on the east coast of Florida. And it is also important to point out that rescues have been ongoing ever since the hurricane left the state. The Orange County Sheriff's Office published a video, if we can put that on the screen, showing deputies using a rope to rescue a woman that was trapped in water after her car was swept away in Orlando.
Yeah, there are a lot of folks still being rescued. Leo Feldman, thank you so much for all of your reporting this week, and stay safe. All right, folks in South Carolina, as Leo was saying, are waking up this morning after the hurricane made landfall there yesterday. Let's turn now to meteorologist Mike Masco to talk about the track of what is left of Ian and what to expect in the Mid-Atlantic. Mike.
Good morning. We are still assessing the storm damage across the Myrtle Beach area. Take a look at some of the storm surge that we saw yesterday coming in. This is the Atlantic Ocean. Look at the rush of water coming in. And at one point, you can see in this video, the actual storm surge coming into pools, coming into neighborhoods, and even up towards first floor apartment buildings in the Myrtle Beach area. So this was a significant storm surge event. And take a look at one of these channels that came in from one of the rivers just to the south of Myrtle Beach. You can see it coming up to some of the stairs and also to the first floor of these people's homes. So storm surge was a big thing in Florida, also a big thing in South Carolina. Myrtle Beach got up to between 4 to 7 foot storm surge. Now, to put that into historical context for you, last time we have to go back to Matthew of 2016, and then the highest storm surge was Hugo back in 1989. So this will be the third worst storm surge to come into Myrtle Beach, but really just awful things as Ian made its second landfall in its journey across the Atlantic. Now, here's one of the observation sites. 5 foot was the major flooding, so we did get up to about 6 feet. So that would make it the third worst storm surge since we've been keeping records back in 1956. The good news is Ian is now no longer tropical. It's a hybrid between a nor'easter and a tropical system, and it's continuing to rain itself out across western North Carolina into western Virginia. Winds at right now 35 miles per hour. It's moving to the north at around 12. Central pressure is rising, so that's an indication to us that it is starting to weaken. And right now, it's becoming massive across the northeast. There's a jet stream out towards the Midwest that's going to scoop it up, continue to push it to the north, and then slingshot it out to sea as we go into time. But we are seeing a good real estate of rain that's continuing to stream up the northern seaboard as you go all the way west into the Ohio Valley. In fact, we have rain showers reaching as far west as Columbus, Ohio. Ohio, if you can believe that. So we'll continue to see wet weather across the Northeast from Ian, upwards of 700 miles to the northwest from where it made landfall. And right now, the heaviest of the rains, 3 to 5 inches across much of Virginia into North Carolina. We did see isolated 10-inch amounts across the coastal points, but we could get upwards of 1 or even 2 inches of rain as far to the northwest as Pittsburgh. Now, the winds are going to stay gusty around 35 to 50 miles an hour. In fact, we had some reports of 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts across Delaware Bay. But the good news is this is slowly going to inch its way off the coast. In fact, by, say, Tuesday of next week, this system will make its way out to sea. And believe it or not, may actually re-strengthen. But the good news is this will be far enough out to not impact any more land. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike Masco. We appreciate it. Now, one of the hardest hit areas of the Florida Gulf Coast this week was Sarasota. It's 60,000 residents facing flooded streets, no power, and some devastated neighborhoods. For the latest on the search and rescue and recovery effort, we are joined now by the mayor of Sarasota, Erik Arroyo. Mayor, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Talk to us about the latest in the situation there on the ground and what your top priority is at this moment.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. Our top priority remains the safety of our residents. And the county is much larger than the city. The county has 500,000 individuals, just under, and they have suffered just losses near the southern part of the county. There are still streets that are flooded. At the city level, the closer you get to the city, actually, the less severe that this is. But the senator has been coming into town. The governor has come into town. Everybody's lending their full support. We have a staging site with about 1,500 individuals from Florida Power and Light, and another 1,500 are expected to come to. So it's all hands on deck over here. I'm still getting a lot of business owners without electricity. Many people had windows broken, the shingles blown off. You know, they're going to need new roofs. They're going to need new walls. They're going to need windows. But we're all lending all the support that we can and working through the processes of FEMA and the federal government to get the proper assistance.
Yeah. Mayor, we know that, as you said, that the linemen and utility workers are heading to Florida by the hundreds. Are there any estimates at this point when essential services could be up and running in the city, in the areas of the city that are still affected, but also in the county more broadly?
They say that they don't know, that they're assessing the damage, and they're going to let us know of a timeline soon. But as of right now, basically they have teams that are working around the clock. They say that some people sleep during the day, work during the night, and some other teams work during the day and sleep at night. And so it's 24-hour continual service. Everybody gets one project at a time. They're going to try taking care of the main corridors or the main power lines first, and then they're going to go to the neighborhoods and those ancillary power lines. But I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of complaints. People need water. There are certain parts of the islands that are not controlled by the city that still need water. Mm-hmm. And we're with everyone, and we're just being receptive to their needs right now.
Mayor Arroyo, you are the youngest mayor in the city's history. You were also the first Latino mayor, and you've only been on the job about a year. You're walking these streets. You're seeing the people that you know. What do you tell them after a devastating and scary event that we saw over the course of the last week?
Well, we tell them that we're going to lend all the resources we can. We're going to help in any way that we can. Not only is our staff, we have over hundreds of individuals that are clearing the streets to ensure that traffic can flow smoothly. We are also compiling checklists of what steps they need to go through to get through the FEMA process, and what resources they have, let's say SBA resources or any funds they might need. We also give them updates as to Florida Power and Light. You know, we will be requesting 3-hour updates. We're going to be requesting a list of all the homes and properties that were affected. And we also want to request from them a plan. We need to know of for sure timeline as to when this can be resolved, and that is something that they have done in the past, so we'll be requesting that soon. But there's just so much unknown, and the further south you get, the more damage there is. We just had another issue with a potential levee breaking. That was on the county side, so I have no jurisdiction there, but that's something that everyone's dealing with right now.
You talk about the resources coming into the area. The Vice President Kamala Harris yesterday made a statement about how the federal government will distribute aid based on race, and she's gotten a lot of flack for that. What is your reaction to that kind of a statement at a moment like this?
I think they should just look at the affected states and distribute aid based on need rather than on race. I mean, hurricane does not care what race you have. It cares about, our aid and how we help people should be based on where the most need is. I mean, we were hit here with 100 plus mile an hour wind, storm surge of 15 feet. And the further south you go, the bigger the catastrophe is. I was speaking with Mayor Anderson of Fort Myers, and I mean the whole area is decimated. Northport, the mayor of Northport, is also dealing with a lot of issues. It should not be based on race. I'll tell you that. I do not agree with that.
Mayor Erik Arroyo, please know that our prayers are with you and your community and the whole state of Florida at this challenging time. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you.